Today's adventure takes us to Cascada Taxopamba. Yeah, that's about as close to hillbilly you can come to saying it. And my English is horrible, so you probably shouldn't expect my Spanish to be great either. And I'm barely learning the local language as the kind people in Otavalo are teaching me a little more each year. And I don't mean Spanish. So today I'm going to take another waterfall hike. However, this one's further out of town and mostly uphill on the way there. So I intend to catch a taxi here at Bolivar Square in Otavalo and then more than likely walk back to town. The taxi ride was definitely worth it. It was a really bumpy ride up and, well, it was rather steep. I think I can have enough energy to walk all the way back down, though. We'll see. Just stay tuned and watch to find out. And by the way, there is a sign at this trailhead, and it says this is the way to walk or take four-wheel drive vehicles. Okay, well, it's written in Spanish, and the sign is probably about 18 inches by 18 inches, red with white writing. It'd be easy to overlook, but if you're paying attention, it won't be hard to find. And if you just grab a taxi, they know where it is and they'll drop you off and make it super easy peasy. The scenery is already very nice. It's very much farm-like. Lots of corn and other things being grown. I think it's going to be a great hike. It is rather warm. Might take off this thin jacket. And it appears that the way is well marked as there's a blue arrow in a sign naming the waterfall and pointing the way there. And don't mind the street dogs. They're actually really friendly. See, they're wagging their tails. They mean no harm. And it's got a great view. This is an awesome walk. Even if there wasn't a waterfall at the end of this walk, I think it would be really worth it just for the scenery that I'm seeing along the way. It's really beautiful and very green. With all these massive eucalyptus forests, one has to wonder if Ecuador isn't planning on starting a sanctuary for koala bears. And here comes another blue sign. The arrow pointing the way and reminding you not to litter. But you shouldn't even need to know that, but I reckon some people do. And now the trail becomes single track for the most part. Wonderful views. You see little homesteads, small house under construction, some great views in deep little gorges. Oh, and a cute little calf. And there's some great signs with ecological slogans for you to enjoy on this beautiful hike. This very much reminds me of hiking in Green River Cove to some of its wonderful waterfalls back home in North Carolina. Oh, wow. And so I have arrived at the waterfall. And you should use care like the sign says. Quite the beautiful waterfall. Cascada Taxopamba. Okay, that's as close as this hillbilly can say it. And I think I pronunciated it correctly based on the letters I can remember in the name. See the screen for the correct spelling. Well, it's feeling a bit overcast. Rather cool, though I must say quite comfortable. So I'm going to go ahead and start my hike back to town. This time, I do not intend to take a taxi, so it's going to be a much longer walk, but gravity will be on my side. And as I said before, this feels very much like hiking in the Green River Cove. Although there is a greater diversity of plants, or at least different ones, And as you can see, there are some rather dark clouds. It's okay. My windbreaker is a small rain jacket. It'll keep my phone dry if it needs to. While this is a great hike and extremely scenic, it may be a bit more physically demanding than the hike that I just covered. So you might want to go back and follow this link to the previous video to see that easy hike as a warm-up for this one. All right, so I'm making my way back to the trailhead. And I fibbed. It is a blue sign. It's not red like I said in the beginning, but it does say what I told you. And I'm not going that way. I'm making a left turn and going back downhill toward town, the opposite of the way the taxi brought me here, or rather in reverse, but it's on the same route, which is paved with rocks. Rather wonderful. Reminds me of Yambiro, except for this is going to be a longer walk. And I'm going to walk down to the Pan American Highway. And when I get there, exactly across the Pan American Highway will be Sucre. And all I have to do is follow Sucre, which is the name of the road, and it will take me directly back to Plaza de Seaman Boulevard, which is where I started, at Bolivar Square. As you can see, there is signage to help you along your way. You can also take taxi like I did and make it super easy. But if you really want a massive workout, then maybe you want to walk the whole way. It's a lot uphill though. You can see there's some wonderful artwork on the outside of this basketball/football court. That's in soccer for you silly gringos. And it's got some great artwork on the outside too. And your other alternative is taking this bus. You can see that the waterfall listed on the front, but that's the bus you want. And when you're on Sucre Street, or when you're following Calle Sucre, you will notice the red flags on the light poles. And some guy headdresses on some, but primarily what really sets this one apart are the red flags along the route on most of the street lamps. Sucre also links Plaza de Bolivar and Plaza de Ponchos. So it's kind of an important landmark. So these red flags might help you get around and get your feel about Otavalo, especially in the beginning. By the way, Sucre was a very important figure in the War of Independence of South America, especially Gran Colombia. That goes all the way to Bolivia, where he played a crucial role. Okay, so this completes my hike back to Bolivar Square. You can see his bust adorning the facade of the building behind me, but this square really is in honor of a much more popular local hero who defied the conquistadors and even burned Quito to deny them that plunder. All in all, this was a very pleasant adventure. I don't regret taking the taxi up the hill to the trailhead, and it was a pleasant walk back with the skies threatening and thunder and some lightning, but just a little bit of a sprinkling. I'm not wet, but there are raindrops falling. I might take a taxi back up to Yambiro because, well, I have a feeling the bottom might fall out and catch me in a place where it'll be hard to catch a taxi later.